Welcome to the Disc Golf Show, guys. This is the 2026 season, and this is episode 2 of the 2026 season. We do have quite a bit. Like last episode was a large one. This seems to lead. We got a lot to talk about. But before we do get to that, as always, this show is brought to you in part by our local pro shop, Final Nine Sports. If you're in the Northern California, Sacramento area, they have 2 locations, and those would be in Orangevale and one in Rocklin. As always, support your local pro shop. If they have what you need, snag it from there. However, if you are unable to find what you're looking for, or there's something that you know that may only be available online, we have a remedy, and that is Disc Golf Deals USA. If you go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow, you can save 10% off of your entire order. There are some exclusions that do apply, but they're usually brand new release discs, molds, and such. But bags, baskets, carts, accessories, all those goods that you're looking for, discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow, and save that 10%, save that money. As always, you do know that we like to start off with good news, and we have a few good things to start off with. First being Ezra. Congratulations to Ezra and Jessica Robinson on their recent marriage. We hope your future is bright and positive, and we wish all the good things for you guys moving forward. We do have a couple baby-related news items, and one is McBeth, that being Paul's brother, Jon. Jon and his wife, Becky, just recently welcomed in to the world their baby. So congratulations, and enjoy it while it lasts, because it goes quick. Also, Josh and Amanda Anthon have a baby on the way. So again, smooth sailing. We hope everything goes well, and stay tuned for when baby Anton comes around. One thing we do want to mention is our hearts go out and to the Girthies. Jessica and Garrett recently made a post that they were pregnant and they are no longer. So, you know, it's sad. Again, our hearts go out to them, and we hope positivity for the future for them, and always look forward. You know, it's tough, but you have loved ones and friends around you to hopefully console you, and we hope there's good things for you guys in the future, as always. Moving on, we do have a record, not a record, but a record for JohnE McCray. He's recently won his 254th PDGA event. So shout out to JohnE McCray. If you don't know who he is, you're living under a rock. And with these 254 wins, they do cross different divisions. So I believe they're in Pro, Masters, and Grandmasters. But hey, that's a good number. You know, you're over 250 wins in your professional career. Congratulations. Today is PDGA Ratings Update Day, so let us know down below if you did go up or down on your rating. Again, if it goes down, it happens to all of us. It just makes those ups that much better when you do see that bump. So let us know down below what your rating is and if it recently went up or down today. We do have some, like last episode, we do have some sponsorship announcement changes. So we'll run through those. Not as many as last episode, but there are a few. New contracts, that would be involving Carver Whitford with Stokely Discs. Jaden Rye signed a 1-year with DGA, and Hannah Wynn signed a 1-year with Mellow Disc Golf. So those are a few new contracts that were announced. Extensions, we have several of those, that involving the first being Prodigy. Prodigy has several that they announced. Luke Humphreys, we know, as the captain for Prodigy. He signed a 2-year extension. In addition to that, we have Braden Brown, Dylan Capiccioli, Jonathan Fletcher, Matt Hammerston, Jake Hebenheimer, Noah Higgins, Manabu Kajiyama, Jesse Longenecker, and Harper Thompson with Prodigy. For DGA, they announced their tour team, and that involves Katrina Allen, Cole Redolin, Sullivan Tipton, Andrew Marwe, Jake Mon, Eliezer Mittling, and Andrew Miranda. So those folks will be on the DGA tour team. Dynamic Discs, There were a couple people there, Robert Burridge and Macy Valadiaz. It is good to see Macy Valadiaz continuing her career with that kind of like little hiccup with sponsorship issues in the past, but we're glad to see her continuing forward. Discmania had a couple. It is the 9th year with Discmania for Nicholas Antala moving into 2026. And Gavin Babcock signed a 2-year extension, so he will be with Discmania through 2027. Matt Bell signed or is in his 4th year with Thought Space Athletics, and he also did mention that he's excited about his 3rd and 4th course designs. So I feel you on that. It's fun to design courses. I hope I'm able to do some more of those in the future, but shout out to him. Chandler Kramer mentioned he is sticking with Cardinal Disc Golf for one of his sponsors. Sarah Wadsworth. Okay, Sarah Wadsworth is a name that you guys are going to need to remember or pay attention to in the next, moving forward, but probably 5 to 10 years for the FPO division, because she is 10 years old. She's currently in the FJ10 division. She signed with the Innova Junior team. However, the reason why I'm saying this is because she's a 3-time junior world champion, and she's also a 4-time world distance record holder for her age. So, I mean, again, write that name down, Sarah Wadsworth. We look forward to seeing more good things from her in the future. Parting ways, we do have a few people that did say that they were parting ways with some companies. One being Chantel Budinsky, which is aka Miss Frisbee on YouTube, parts ways with Prodigy. She did mention, and go check her video out, she did mention something about Prodigy wanting more from her but wanting to give less. So again, that probably differs from contract to contract with anybody, but if you want more information on that, go check out her video on YouTube. Colton Montgomery announced that he's leaving Discmania. He did state that he didn't ever see anything but him retiring with Discmania, but by his words, he stated that it's just not the same company anymore. So what that means, you know, there's always an evolution to, as a sport grows, as the businesses that are involved in that sport, the companies, the manufacturers, sometimes your vision for that company as a player does not line up with the company's vision. And sometimes it's a hard call, and you've got to make those calls for the best for your future. So we do hope to see good things for Colton. Last but not least, Katrina Allen did recently state that she's parting ways with Squatch. So pay attention to see what she'll be carrying in the future. But if you were looking to support her, we will update you as to how you can do that in the future. But if you did want one of those old Squatch bags, if there are any left, go check it out and snag one of those. There was an announcement from Yikun Discs. If you don't know what Yikun Discs is, I believe it's a Chinese manufacturing company. They are looking to push into the European market. They've been producing discs for 15 years, and within those 15 years, they've actually produced discs for a couple other manufacturers, that being Discmania and Prodigy. So maybe you have already thrown some Yikun plastic, but you just didn't know because it was with Discmania and Prodigy. They are looking to create a European ambassador team. So if you're in Europe and you want to look to get sponsored by somebody, reach out to Yikun. See maybe if you can join that team. They are also launching a Norse mythology series aimed at Western players. So stay tuned to see what those discs end up becoming. Pause. Quote from them: working on several innovative releases that we believe will introduce concepts not yet seen in the disc golf market. That is going to be curious. So I wonder what that is all about. Some other smaller announcements. Ricky made a post about his new tour vehicle, that being a Toyota Grand Highlander. I mean, it's a smaller SUV. It's not a massive one. So, you know, if it works for him, that's all that matters. So shout out to Ricky on his new addition there. Chris Dickerson also posted his schedule for the 2026 season. And if you looked at it already, I noticed first thing was he's not going to Europe. And I contacted him. He did state that he's taken a break. He's been going over the past few years, and he's just taken a break this year. So he will not be going, as of now, to any of the European events. So that being said, moving on, Worlds updates. We do have a couple things related to Worlds. First Form, they announced as the presenting sponsor, and also within the first 5 days of them announcing those tickets, available tickets for purchase, they actually, and it's been longer since 5 days now, but in those first 5 days, they actually were able to get $125,000 worth of tickets via the gold, silver, and platinum ticket levels. So obviously it's going to be already more than that, but that's massive. 125,000 just in the first 5 days, less than a week. PDGA has announced that, or there's some discussion that alcohol will be allowed at certain tiers, and those being more likely the flex starts and such, lower tiered events. Personally, I think if it's a sponsored event or sanctioned event, dry. I mean, there's other ways you can create your own tournaments and stuff that you can do things outside of what was currently allowed. But when it comes to PDGA sanctioned, I think its legitimacy is at stake there, and we'll see what happens with that. Tour Down Under just started this weekend, and they also had some announcements for that tour. Really cool. MVP is the presenting sponsor, so it's MVP Discs Tour Down Under. GoThrow were announced as the official media sponsor, media partners, and the official retail sponsor is now OTB Discs. So if you don't know OTB, they've been around a long time. The winners of this event, it did just finish up. I believe it was last night or the night before, because obviously their hours are completely different. So I think they're finishing up overnight for us here in the US. The winners were for MPO, sorry, for the MVP Discs Tour Down Under. MPO, Levi Stout. FPO was Jennifer Smiley at this first event. So you'll see them at future events down there in that tour. All right, so there we're kind of to the biggest news here. There's some DGPT announcements. The main one being, well, actually, I'll wait to get to that. Let me do another one first. They did announce that they've added new European tour tournaments to the 2026 schedule. So now they have a total of 8 events in Europe specifically for the Euro Tour. And those will cross 5 countries, that being Estonia, Sweden, Finland, and Czech Republic, as well as Poland. There's a total of 4 DGPT Euro Tour events categorized as Euro Tour, which end up being actual PDGA A-tier events. There are 3 Elite Series, so DGPT Elite Series events, and 1, obviously, the European Major, European Open, PDGA Pro Major. So that tour over there is growing for those of those European players that are unable to come over here for an extended amount of time. And it's good to see that, because then you're getting the more people available to challenge those like world rankings and all that stuff. So that's good to see. They also did say that there is an updated DGPT Europe points series structure will be announced soon. So whatever that pertains to, obviously it's going to be, maybe it'll be slightly different, or maybe they're just going to be applying whatever those that structure is here over there. We don't know. We will see. All right, getting to the biggest news. Powerball, guys. Powerball is now the presenting partner for the Disc Golf Pro Tour in 2026 and 2027. So this is a 2-year agreement. So we will be seeing the official title, Disc Golf Pro Tour, presented by Powerball, as the title for the tour, DGPT, moving through 2027. Included in this are some cool things. Definitely some cool things. They're announcing the Powerball DGPT World Standings, so that's the season-long points race. the Powerball DGPT playoffs. So all those playoff events are now considered Powerball DGPT playoffs, and the Powerball Cup. And what the Powerball Cup is just a different name for the Pro Tour Championship. So they're the big sponsor. They get to make those requests for changes. So it's no longer the Pro Tour Championship. It's going to be called the Powerball Cup. Also, this is noted as the largest purse in DGPT history for the Powerball Cup currently. So, and again, we did hear that this is the largest outside the sport investor in disc golf. So that's awesome to hear. I love hearing that outside companies are coming in and seeing the investment potential in disc golf. This was all made possible by the Pivot Agency. So they're a sponsorship or marketing company. So shout out to them for helping make that happen. Jeff Spring did state, this will allow us to make meaningful investments in tour infrastructure and long-term development. So this has to be substantial. So how substantial, we don't know yet, but hopefully we find out. I would love to know the stats on how the Powerball is investing. As for other items that will include spectators, which is really, I think this is one of the coolest things that Powerball is bringing, because it involves the people watching, not just the pros, not just the athletes. That being the Powerball Ace. And what that is at each US DGPT event, there's 15 total that they're including. There will be 5 random fans that will be able to throw for a rolling jackpot. And it will be debuting at the Supreme Flight Open, so we'll see this right out the gate. But this Ace is valued at $5,000. If it is not hit, another $1,000 will be added. So, I mean, $5,000 is awesome. 5 people, 5 chances. If no ace is hit, there is going to be a $500 CTP given out. So that's even cool. If there's no ace hit, somebody's winning something. That's really, really cool. So shout out to Powerball for including that, and DGPT and Powerball for coming up with that. If you don't know what Powerball is, it is lottery, basically. So just to give you a quick rundown here, if you haven't heard of it, if you're younger, maybe you haven't heard of it yet, they've generated over $38 billion to support education, veteran services, park and recreation, and more. Tickets are sold in 45 states, so they're not, the entirety of the U.S., but 45 states, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and U.S. Virgin Islands. Tickets are $2, and you can win lots of money if you hit your numbers. Drawings are broadcast live every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and you can also see them live streamed at Powerball.com if you do purchase those $2 tickets. Yeah, so that's a pretty big announcement. That's a pretty big company. And the money that they're bringing in to help support disc golf and grow the tour, I hope nothing but good things come from this. As always, I try to stay positive in these things. If negative things pop up, we will definitely inform you if there's some issues that pop up for whatever reason. But, we hope this only grows disc golf, at least the professional level of disc golf, because we like to see the Pro Tour live streams, all that stuff get better and better as time passes. Before we move on to the question, guys, of the episode, we would appreciate, or I would appreciate, how we say we? I always say we. We would appreciate those of you hitting that subscribe button. Really, really does help. I have seen the recent increase, so I'm gonna want to try to do giveaways, maybe possibly every 100 that it does jump, every 100 milestone maybe. But yeah, hit that subscribe, like, share with your friends, hit the notifications, all the goods. Okay, moving on to disc golf. Question of the episode. This is kind of connected to the recent DGPT announcement, but basically, in your opinion, or for you, what outside of the sports sponsor would you like to see get involved with in disc golf? and why? How would it benefit them? Obviously, it's going to benefit disc golf, but how do you think it could benefit that outside sponsor? And what things do you think that they could bring to the table that would be interesting, new, or beneficial, even more beneficial to disc golf? Basically, what outside sponsor would you like to see? Let's move on to gear and equipment, guys. Again, this segment is brought to you also by Disc Golf Deals USA. And if you go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow, you can save 10% off of your entire order there. Some exclusions do apply, but baskets, bags, carts, clothing, discs, accessories, get all your goods there, save your 10%. There are only 3 discs approved since last episode, and those all came from Good Tree Disc Golf. And funny enough, all of them are named Burl, B-U-R-L. However, they are Burl with a plus sign, and Burl with a negative sign. So I'm guessing overstable, understable. Those links will be down below if you want to look at them, or you can go to PDGA website and check those out. Also, there was, excuse me. Also, there was an announcement that I moved down to here just because it's release related, kind of, but it was from MVP, and it's these teasers that they've been pushing out called ends up being called Project Lab Coat. And it's basically stating they're changing their rim color from black to white as a staple for their normal lines of discs. And outside of that, they do say that aesthetics are important, so they are stating that they're updating their stock stamps. So stay tuned if you do like the current black rim or the current stamps, stock up on them, because those are going to be changing. Those stock molds are going to be sent out, and they'll be changing to the white rim with new stamps. Curious as to what those stamps will look like. And then, as always, the last but not least, is the item you use most when you're out on the disc golf course, and that is your shoes. The 2 options that we always suggest are the ones that support disc golf, that being Ideo Sports. They have the Syncrasy and the Brawler, Syncrasy Evo and the Brawler, low top, high top shoes, lightweight, waterproof, all that stuff. And then Vessi. You've probably heard of Vessi. They sponsor Isaac Robinson. They were sponsoring Paul McBeth. I'm not sure if they still are. They sponsor a few players out there. And yeah, Vessi shoes. 2 completely different styles of shoes. So whichever one tickles your fancy, support them. Ideo Sports and Vessi. All right, guys, we are at upcoming events. I do have a few things to note here. I know we're still about a month away, month and a half away from the first Disc Golf Pro Tour event, but there are some other things I did want to mention here. There are a couple Pro Tours. I'll mention the first couple here, but January 24th and 25th, here coming up really soon. Disc East is the expo being held in Marlborough, Massachusetts. So if you are over on the East Coast or want to attend that, check that out. February 27th to March 1st is your first Disc Golf Pro Tour event. That's the 2026 Supreme Flight Open held in Brooksville, Florida. If you can't make Disc East, there is going to be a Disc South held in Texas, and that will be held March 7th to 8th. So stay tuned for news, more specifics on that. And then the second event, which I'm really excited to see because it's the first year that it's going to be involved in the Disc Golf Pro Tour, March 13th to 15th, the 2026 DGPT Big Easy Open in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. So very excited to see that. Now, kind of throwing it back to one of the news items, those European Tour schedule events. I did want to give you a rundown of those. So we'll rush through those here really quick. That being June 12th to 14th, so it's all starting in June. The Pärnu Open in Pärnu, Estonia, that's classified as a Euro Tour event, so that A tier, or PDGA A tier. June 18th to 21st is European Open. We know that, PDGA Pro Major, Tallinn, Estonia. June 26th to 28th is the Swedish Open in Borås, Sweden. That is an Elite Series, DGPT Elite Series. July 3rd to 5th is the Ale Open in Knoll, Sweden, and that is also a DGPT Elite Series. In addition, another Elite Series is July 10th to 12th is the Heinola Open in Heinola, Finland. And then moving on to The last three are the Euro Tour PDGA A tier events, that being July 3rd or 31st to August 2nd, the Saravori Challenge in Euro, Finland. September 18th to 20th is the Moravian Open, Novi Jičín, Czech Republic. I probably slaughtered that. September 25th to 27th, Silesia Open in Strzelce Opolski, Poland. Probably slaughtered that too, but we will see. So those are your 8 events for the European Tour. Interesting to see how the Euro side, the tour grows over there. I think that the bigger that tour gets, the more we'll start seeing those European top-end players coming over and being able to play more of the all the events over here in the U.S. So we do look forward to seeing more of that. All right, let's move on to the mailbag, guys. This is where we share products or videos that we want to send your way, so you can go check them out. Mine are kind of more personal this time for the product reviews. The first being DJI mics. I've been using these now for quite a while, especially on this this new version of the Disc Golf Show. Haven't had any issues with them. They last a long time. They charge quickly. They're super portable. They come in this handy little carrying case, and they come with the windscreens if you need that, if you're outside. These are the older models, so I think these are the DJI Mic 2s. They do have some minis out and a DJI Mic 3 out now. But if you're looking to record anything for disc golf or anything outside, any of your other hobbies, check them out. They hook up quick and easy to your equipment, and yeah, just thought I'd shout that out there. Shout that out there. That sounded weird. All right, next being more personal are my sunglasses when I do wear sunglasses if I'm out on the course. And those are Knockarounds. So there's a logo there. Knockarounds, they have normal, and you can get your prescription glasses through them. They have men's, women's, and kids. 27 frame styles, so they have a bunch of different versions. They also have, geez, I'm dropping them all over the place over here. They also have snow goggles, and those start around 85 bucks. The normal glasses, kids, I think 30, 35 for your base type, but you can also customize them, and they have 3 different frames that you can go in and customize the front frame, the right arm, the left arm, the lens, and the logo, and you can change all those separately. So both the arms don't have to match, and you can kind of, they got a ton of lenses, different polarized lenses and different types of colors for the lenses. But yeah, I think they're affordable. I have a decent quantity here, probably at least a dozen of them, in variable variations of their styles. But yeah, go check them out, knockaround.com. All right, let's move on to the video. This is kind of a self-plug also. I just thought I'd shout this out there. I've been doing a TikTok for Disc Golf Show. So if you go to tiktok.com/@discgolfshow, you can find me there. I do daily questions on there, literally daily questions, and it's fun. I think it's a super easy app to use. I've still got a ton to learn, but it's just another avenue that if you do have TikTok, then go ahead and follow us on there. It's very much appreciated. In fact, follow all your pros on there. Follow all your other social media guys on there. I know there's manufacturers on there, and definitely top pros that are on there that I follow. So go check them out. There's a ton of other creators on there as well outside of athletes. But yeah, go check us out. tiktok.com/@discgolfshow. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. This is another long one, and we are at the end of the show. And as always, we like to help you save some money. So if you are looking at getting a new bag, go check out Upper Park Disc Golf. If you use code Disc Golf Show, you can save some money there. And as always, big shout out to Disc Golf Deals USA. If you go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow, you can save 10% off of your entire order. I'm saying go do it, especially if you're looking at big purchases. So if you're getting baskets, that 10% adds up. Baskets, bags, carts, accessories, discs, apparel, anything and everything, nets, anything and everything that you're looking for, go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow, save that 10%. And as always, big shout out to our main sponsor, Final Nine Sports, our local pro shop. And again, if you're in the area, Northern California, Sacramento, go to their one of their two locations, or both. One in Orangevale and one in Rocklin. Always support local if you can. All right, guys, that brings us to the end. And again, if you can, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below if you have any opinions, disagreements with me. You can actually email me if you have anything you'd like me to throw into the next episode. I'm more than happy to do so. Any news on an event coming up your way that you want highlighted, any complaints about me, send them to discgolfshow@gmail.com. I welcome constructive criticism. So thank you again, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week.